Hi, my name is Isabel Reedy. I'm a class of 2020 graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Health and Exercise Science and a minor in biology. I was also on the pre-medical track while an undergrad. First off, I want to say congratulations to the class of 2024. We are so proud of you and know how hard you worked to get to this point and are so lucky to have you all joining us as alumni of Orange Nation. So for the time being, sit and soak in this moment because it's a huge accomplishment. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about going back to school as a graduate student after working in the workforce. For reference, between my undergraduate career and starting medical school, where I currently am a student at the Medical College of Wisconsin, I took 1 year off. During that year, I worked as an orthopedic surgery research assistant, and I actually found that job through a Syracuse University alum. That year was truly one of the most transformative years of my life, not only because it was COVID, but because I was really on my own for the first time as a postgraduate, learning how to work in the workforce and apply the skills that I had gained through my career in academia to then go back into being a student. While a student at Syracuse University, I worked in a couple of research labs and obviously took all of my pre-medical classes. Those skills I used almost every single day in the workforce. And the transferable skills that I'd learned not only through my education, but also just working every single day helped me extremely prepare for time in medical school. People always ask, was it hard to go back to being a student after taking time off? And honestly, I felt that it wasn't, because I was not only prepared from a experience side of things, but I also grew so much personally and had time to really recuperate on my mental health during that year. I felt that having a step back from the pressures of academia really helped me refuel and reload to be ready to, get back in the swing of things, of writing papers, of taking exams, of studying for exams. Do not get me wrong. Being a student will always be difficult, and the rigors of academia can definitely weigh on you. But I want to make it very clear that taking time away from being a student is not a bad thing. It's honestly a time when you will learn more about yourself than you would if you were just doing your classes every day. You're applying what you've learned, you are taking risks, you are putting yourself out there, making connections, networking. You're doing all these skills that you learned how to accomplish during your undergraduate degree and putting them to use in the real world. I owe a lot of my success at this point in time due to not only my time at Syracuse, but my time working in the workforce. I want to finish by giving some tips and tricks to those who may be thinking about going to grad school, but maybe taking some time off in between undergraduate and then. If you feel like you need a break, take it. There is no pressure to go back to school right now. You'll have the rest of your life to do that. And who knows, maybe working in the workforce will change what your goals in life are. Again, like I said, I learned so much about myself during that year, and I feel as though gaining those experiences in the real world and in your real career can help you find this winding road that is your career. It doesn't have to be a straight arrow. Take the time, enjoy your experiences in the real world, and enjoy being a student once again. So take your time, take a deep breath, and do what feels right for you. Once again, we wanted to say congratulations to the class of 2024. We are so proud of you, and feel free to reach out anytime.
Hello, Syracuse University graduates. Welcome to the Orange alumni family. My name is Stephanie Ann. I'm a 2015 graduate from Cuse. So yes, I am one of you, although I'm just a little bit older. My bachelor's degrees from Syracuse are from Newhouse, specifically in broadcast and digital journalism, and from the Falk College in sport management. I also have 2 master's degrees, which is the topic of conversation right now. They're not from Syracuse. That's from a story for a totally different day on how I chose that. But specifically, I wanted to talk to you about how, now that you've completed your undergraduate career, grad school might be looming. If you want to make that decision to start in the fall or wait a few years, we'll go into a little bit of my decision making. But how do you decide balancing your time spent in school and in a real world career situation, all of which were big deciding factors for me when I was making my own decision? And I'm not going to lie, it's a very personal decision. Even amongst my classmates in grad school, my decision to work and go to school was very different than a lot of my other classmates who did not make that decision themselves or even wanted to make that decision. Some of them were all in on school. I had to be more 50-50. Why? Well, I went back to grad school 6 years after I graduated from Syracuse. And in those 6 years, I became very self-sufficient, very much responsible for my own survival. So even putting a pause on that for 2 years and going back to grad school was not going to be an option. I was so used to working and paying for my own rent, buying my own groceries, filling up my own car with its own gas, et cetera, et cetera, and basically supporting myself totally on my own. I didn't rely much on the help of friends or family. So not being able to work for 2 years for my grad school program was definitely not an option. Fortunately, for some of you, this work school split, the exact percentages that decision will be made for you. If in the future you think there's a potential for you to go and earn an advanced degree and your employer offers that as a benefit to everyone that works for them, and you decide to take advantage of that benefit, huge plus. I say go for it if it's something you really want to do. Then your employer, the company you work for is already going to have an idea of the best formula, whether it's working from 9 to 5 and taking 1 or 2 night classes during a semester, or if you're working 3 days, going to school 2, et cetera, et cetera. You are not going to be their guinea pig in this benefit plan. And if you are, then you're probably not the only one. It's probably something that your fellow coworkers have been asking for as a benefit for a while. So they'll already have done the research on what the best formula fit percentage mix between completing a full or part-time job and either going to school on most likely a part-time basis if it's an employer sponsored program, although there are some chances and opportunities for full-time schooling too. But again, that's all something that you would work through with your HR department and your benefits manager. And for those of you going into the medical profession, my hats are off to you big time, but it's pretty common knowledge on the split between school and work, especially since a lot of your knowledge base in the medical profession is going to come from hands-on experience and from learning and watching from those who have been in it for years and years and years and in teaching hospitals and your experienced medical professionals. So as you move through your grad school experience, your med school experience and into your residency, the two I found from talking to friends and such is going to become more and more, your work and school is going to become very intertwined. For me, personally, finding that perfect balance between going to class and completing assignments and catching up on group projects. I went to business school for a master's degree, so group projects were the king. A lot of our semester-long assignments all ended up being group projects. And of course, I was working, and fortunately, the program that I chose to attend offered me a graduate assistantship, so I had to fit in the time to complete those tasks and assignments too in my schedule. That all actually kind of fell into place on its own, I'm not gonna lie. So I work in sports television as a freelancer. And I specifically work a lot in college athletics. So that means a lot of my nights and weekends are taken up by work, which is great. I only had class Monday through Thursday, so I was free to travel for work on weekends. And any games that I chose to work during the week, I made sure I picked spots that were close to home, or I was asked to be assigned to spots that were close to campus in the home that I had chosen at the time. And so Thursday nights and Friday mornings, I spent working ahead. I would take those times, I would try to finish as many of the assignments for the upcoming week as possible, whether that was short papers, long papers, tying up loose ends in group projects, et cetera, making sure my sections of said group projects were picture perfect. And then for the weekends, if I was flying, I definitely became the expert on how to finish a paper in an airport and submit that using either the airport Wi-Fi or connection through my phone on the internet. I became very good at that. And if I was driving to my locations for the weekend, I would do the readings for the week ahead using audiobooks, text to talk through the Bluetooth speakers in my car. Every little instance, I found time during my travel days to complete an assignment or work on something so that I would be able to finish it at a later date. I'm not saying it was easy. There are a lot of sacrifices that have to be made. I missed quite a few get-togethers with my cohort members because I was working. I did, not to say I missed all of them, but I missed quite a few. And again, it was super personal, me having to miss these to work. And you will find your own method when it comes to balancing grad school and work, homework, etc., etc. I found that being the most organized, on top of it person in the room really made it easier. I knew when all the due dates were, so I knew when to schedule extra time to finish something, or if I needed to take a day off from work in order to complete a long form paper, I could do that. Because I had a planner, I had multiple calendars, I was constantly comparing one calendar to the other, make sure both of them matched, vice versa. I would plan out a Monday through Sunday. On every Sunday afternoon, I would go through and make sure I had all my meetings down for the week, all of my assignments down for the week. I made sure I knew when to finish things, especially since I really preferred to give myself like a day or two extra on due dates. So if a due date was Friday for something, I try to have it finished by Wednesday. That way, in case something came up, an emergency happened, or I wasn't able to complete X on time to get to Y, then I could finagle some things around. So flexibility, being organized in your schedule, two really important factors in my success in making it in grad school while working. I would say I was working pretty close to full time while also going to school full time, since that was the expectation set by my program. Not the working part, the school full time part, of course. The working part was just something I threw in, again, because I had to. There was no other choice for me in order to be my own person, my own individual, independent human being. I had to make sure I could take care of myself. And being on top of my work schedule, my school schedule, my homework schedule, knowing where all of that lay flat on a calendar definitely marked my fast track to success in grad school. And I'm positive it'll do the same for you. So you, again, will find your own balance between maybe one week it's 50% school, 50% work. The next week, because it's finals, it has to be 90% school and 10% work. But knowing all of that ahead of time, never feeling like you're drowning or constantly trying to catch up, you should feel like you're floating. That will be your biggest success marker for grad school. So congratulations again. If you have any questions at all about grad school and work, feel free to reach out. I am very open to questions and I love talking to people. I can't wait to see how you all move forward from Syracuse and how you all make your own markers of success in your life, your career, your journey from here on out. I'm proud of you. Welcome to the family.